Hey guys, welcome to the Shift with Intention podcast. I'm JaimeZografos, your host, and today our guest is Jaime, just Jaime. I decided that every 10 podcasts, I am going to pop on and just do just a little check-in, a little tidbits of wisdom, whether we are reviewing a couple things that have been on the last 10 podcasts or some little nuggets of wisdom that I want to touch base with. So today it's me, and I'm just going to kind of free flow and talk about some things that I feel are valuable for you guys. So I moved a little bit ago. Many of you know a little bit of my story, but many of you don't. So I moved recently about 4 months ago, and I had 3 acres in Lake St. Louis and a whole lot of landscape and a whole lot of leaves. And I've always talked about the leaves and leaf blowing, which is totally like my zen. And in that, picking weeds and planting and all the things that I did there, I learned a lot about landscape and flowers. Everybody likes to get flowers delivered. But also when you sit there and you're planting flowers, picking weeds, doing your landscape, and you were going to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, and you're buying plants, we always look at the tag that says the environment in which the plants or flowers will grow best and all of that good stuff. So I'm sitting there, and taking away the dead of the daylilies or whatever, and it's a little bit of, I don't know, it's like therapy. And I'm like, gosh, if you put something in the right environment to thrive, it really will thrive. And a flower and a plant is a wonderful example. But that goes for us too. And so in my therapy of planting, I was like, gosh, if you put the right person or thing in the right environment, it'll thrive. And you guys, that goes for us. And that runs so deep for me because I feel like a lot of us put ourselves in environments that don't allow us to thrive. We've all done it. We've all been in a work environment that doesn't work for us. We've all been in a relationship that doesn't work, whether that's a friendship, work relationship, a intimate relationship, and it doesn't work and we don't thrive and we stay until we don't. And it's such a real thing that if you do all the things and put it in the right place and water it and give it the food and all those things, it thrives. And I wanted to extend that to you guys, something so simple to just be as easy as if you put yourself in the right environment, you'll thrive. And we always do things for so many other people, like our kids will be like, oh, they got to be in the right soccer team or they got to be on the right, dance team or whatever. And we do so much. We run them around town and we do all of these things to make sure that they're in the right environment so they can thrive. But what about us? Do we put ourselves in the right environment? Do we do the self-care and the self-love? Do we go to the right gym that works for us if we're exercising? Or do we need yoga? Do we need, it's all of those things. And at work, are you thriving? Are you in an environment that you're growing? So all of these things are sitting there just spinning through my head as I'm planting and looking at, I guess daylilies was really where it was at, because you remove all the dead. You guys, daylilies are the prettiest thing and they're everywhere. And I had so many. And so I'd keep removing all the dead. And then right under that new growth, which is like us too. And it's like, if you remove all the dead and all the lessons and all the things you've learned, all the new growth starts coming up. And I think it's such an incredible metaphor on life and how we are with our relationships, the environments we put ourselves in, and the things that we do in those relationships, which ties into like my next thing. There's, we're all in relationships, whether it's a friend or an intimate relationship or whatnot. And so many of us judge that relationship and have expectations on what the other person should be giving in that relationship. I am such a big advocate on introspection. Like, before we're going to judge what someone else is doing in a friendship, why don't we look at what we're doing? So there's this new thing I kind of decided, is before if you're kind of like not 100% feeling amazing about whatever relationship, I do this thing like, well, what are you, if there's a cup of a relationship, like there's a little cup in any relationship, your friends, your kids, whatever. And if everybody has a little cup, do you guys see my cup? If you guys have a cup and everybody in the relationship is filling the cup. So now you have a cupful, we'll call it. And who's pulling from the cup and who's putting in the cup? So let's say both parties in a friendship or intimate relationship are putting in the cup. Great. And then who's pulling from the cup? Is only one person pulling from the cup? Is one person taking and taking and taking because they need that right now? And that's okay. And then, do they fill it back up? And it's not like give and take, and we have a measuring stick. It's not like that. As Tony Robbins would say, you've got to go to a relationship to give. And if you're not going to a relationship to give, then don't be in a relationship. Totally agree. But there's always times we all need something, and that's okay too. So back to our little cup. And if you're not putting in the cup and giving to the cup and taking and giving, the cup becomes a little bit like an odd cup, nobody wants that cup. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, I was like, gosh, am I doing as much for the cup that am I taking more from the cup right now? And I was on a walk. I was like, I feel like I'm taking more from the cup than the other person. And so I was like, you know what? Today's a cup filler day. And so did some stuff for that person that was cup filling for them. And I just think it's like, that's exactly what every relationship should be. Instead of sending a text or, hey, why aren't you doing this? Or why didn't you do this for me? How about we look inside and be like, hey, have I been the taker or the giver in the relationship? Not everybody gives the same, and not everybody receives the same. And if you give space for someone to give, sometimes you'll be good at receiving. How do you like that? So I think a lot of times, a lot of us have trouble receiving, and it takes practice. I used to not be good at it, and I wouldn't ask for help, and I would just do, and that didn't work. And so let's say 75% of the time, I am totally okay receiving. And then when I'm in a super vulnerable spot, I'm just like, Urgh. So the people that understand and love you very well know that space. And they're like, oh gosh, I'm meeting you over there and I'll be right there. And that's incredible. But we sometimes have to speak up for what we need from others. So the little nugget is, with our flowers, put yourself in an environment to thrive. And in your little cup filling thing, make sure that you're putting in the cup and that you're not taking out of the cup over and over and over. So that you're a putter and a taker, because if you're both filling the cup and one person does all the taking, then it's like, hey, we got to fill the cup back up. And maybe, the taker doesn't see that yet. But maybe you can offer that. So anyway, little insightful. I think before we point the finger at anybody, I think it's just really good awareness to look at ourselves and say, what am I giving to the relationship right now? Am I giving anything? What am I doing? So, I have plenty of friends that we don't talk all the time, but when we talk, I'm like, make sure you're asking about things in their life. Don't just sit there and so that's one little thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Then I wanted to share a story that I had my biggest shift in my entire life that I didn't even write about in the book. And some people know about it, many don't. But so I'm an empty nester. So I'm 46, 47 next week, but I'm still 46. So we're going to go with that. And Sophie and Sydney are off to school. Sophie left this fall. Sydney's in grad school. And I'm a full-blown empty nester. If you would have told me, 25 years ago that at 46, your kids are going to be gone and you're going to be alone, that was not my blueprint. That's not what I wrote for my life. But here I am at 46, and it's the summer of 22, and Sophie's about to leave for school. So she's on a little trip with her friends that I had gotten her for graduation. And I decided when I was taking her, a couple of days before I was taking her and the girls to the airport, I'm like, this is like a practice time of me to be alone while she's gone. So I decided that for those 5-6 days that she was gone, I'm going to just be by myself. I'm not going to go out with friends. I'm not going to be social. I'm just going to work. I'm going to come home and I'm just going to be. And the reason I did that is because she was leaving in 4 weeks and I was scared shitless. It wasn't, I had this big house, so much to take care of. I didn't need a big house. It's just me. And I was due. And I was trying to achieve all these things. And she's about to leave. And what am I going to do? Run around in circles in my big house and pick more weeds? And I was like, so I was like, I've got to feel this emotion. So I decided, you got to sit in the swamp sometimes to move past, you got to move past it. So I decided, I'm not feeling sorry for myself or whatever, but I'm like, I'm going to sit in the swamp of what it feels like to be completely alone. There's so many tools out there. You can date, you can get on 18 dating apps, you can date. I wanted to make sure that I was okay with me once she left, that I could stand in a happy place with just me. And so when I welcomed somebody into my life, that I was happy with me first. So it was really important to me. Yeah, those 6 days were not super fun at first. There was a lot of tears the first couple days, and I sat with it. I was like, you've got to be okay doing this. This is what it's going to be like. And I cleaned the house. I wrote a lot. I've read a lot. I watched a couple movies, and there was a lot of sad moments. I went outside and on the beautiful property and I looked around and I was like, it's so beautiful here. And I have nobody here to do this with. And I can do meditations and that'll make me happy for that time. But I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why do I even live here? And why? And so in that moment, I was like, I'm done doing this. I'm going to put the house on the market and I'm going to move and I'm going to be able to create more time to be. And at the end of the 5 or 6 days, I was like, you know what? I'm fun. I'm a fun girl. I had fun the last 5 or 6 days. And that is what I learned. Like, I'm good. But at the beginning of those days, I was like, not scared to be alone, but it's like, guys, who wants to be alone when they're 80? None of us. And I never sat with that. I never sat with it because of shame, because I was like, oh, I'm 46. I've been divorced twice. And whatever energy I held with that, I didn't want to be alone, but I was. And I was creating environments where I was alone. When I was a little girl, we had to go to bed at 7:00 every night. And my mom and dad would lock me and my sister in our bedroom. And we had to look out at 7:00. And then on the weekends, we couldn't come out of our room until 12. So I would look out the window all the time. And I would look at all these other families spending time with their kids. And I was like, why doesn't anybody want to spend time with me? And so I recreated that in my life for 20 years. I dove myself into work and being busy, and recreated those 4 walls because I didn't think someone really wanted to be with me. And then until I sat in the 4 walls for 6 days, and I was like, wait a second, you just recreated what you knew because that's all you knew. So I created this environment where I got to pick weeds. I got to leaf blow. I got to do this. And I was like, what in the world are you doing? This isn't even who you are. People love to be around you. And so I've got home from her trip and I'm like, hey, babe, I think I'm selling the house. And she's like, what? And I was like, you're leaving. I don't need all this. And I did. And I'm totally renting a house for the first time in 25 years. And I'm the happiest I've been. I don't have to pick any weights unless I want to. But I'm just freer to be. And I don't have to do as much. And that has been the most enlightening thing that I did. So when Soph went off to school, she had a tough couple weeks. Amazingly happy now, but her transition was a little rough. So thank God that I did that process before she left, because I was able to be there for her when she needed me. And if I hadn't sat there in that space for 6 days and sat in the swamp, I don't believe I would have been as strong. Now I cried plenty when I dropped her off, but I was able to put that aside and be her mom and be present for her. And I don't know that I would have done that as well if I hadn't put myself in an environment to thrive. So guys, we're in charge of our lives. If you don't put yourself in an environment to thrive, you are not going to thrive. So where are you not thriving? And where are you not doing the things that make sense for you? And that is really what I wanted to drop in and talk about today, because there's so many things that we put ourselves in that we're not thriving. And in your cup filling spaces and work, you guys, at work. I mean, there's cup fillers at work. You know, your boss has got to appreciate you, but you got to appreciate the people you work with too. And so I just think in our relationships, instead of being like, hey, why didn't you call me? Guys, we're all doing our best. We all have, oh, my kid got sick. She was in the ER. Oh, my dog. Oh, I got a call from the doctor. There's a bajillion things we are all going through, and none of us know what the other one's going through because not everybody posts it on Facebook. And so, like, have a little bit of grace for the friends that are like, hey, this isn't going well, or I'm doing my best, and your best is okay. Last little nugget. One of my favorite quotes is, well, two nuggets. Okay. So one quote is, your 100% can look different every day. So you wake up and you can decide if the day is going to rule you or if you're going to rule the day. So set your intention on, I'm going to take control of this day, and here's what my day is going to look like, and set your day out. Or wake up and let your day happen and let your day run you. You get to choose. But I sometimes let my day run me. I'm human. But some days I'm like, you know what? There's 7 inches of snow coming tomorrow. I'm going to get 5 appraisals done. I'm going to OsteoStrong. I'm going to do this. I'm going to drop a podcast. And I'm like, bam, bam, bam. Because you know what? Because I want to have a little fun tonight, and there's a snow day tomorrow, and I'm going to go play in the snow. Kind of, not really. But I'm going to create my own space to have fun in that day. Because what? Because I want to thrive. Because I want to thrive in that. So it's okay to work really hard in a small space so you can go thrive. Give yourself a gift and grace to be that. And so that's what I did today. Ran 5 appraisals. I'm not joking. And went to OsteoStrong, sold a membership, trained my manager, dropped a podcast, worked out, took a shower, and here I am. And now I get to have some fun. So put yourself in an environment to thrive. Honor the relationships you're in by pouring into the cup and not taking too much out of the cup. And having that honor and respect for that person to say, hey, I'm going to pour into you tonight because I have been taking too much from the cup. Too much. Wrong word. Nope. I've been taking more from the cup than you have, and I want to give to you. So don't judge yourself and say too much. Sorry about that. And put yourself in the environment to thrive. So I just forgot that last nugget I just gave you. But anyway. Okay. Last thing. Surrender. We are not in control of this life, right? We are given paths to choose, and we are in control of choosing that path. When I sold the house, and honestly, the house was on the market for like 10 days. I'm like, forget it, Tina, I don't want to sell the house anymore. I was like, nobody wants it. It's been 10 days. This is in this crazy market. And I was at a price that was not everybody's price range. So there wasn't as many people looking, but we had 2 people look in 10 days. And I'm like, we're not doing it. So I went outside on my deck and I said out loud, if I'm not supposed to live here, don't let anybody buy it. If I'm supposed to live here, please don't let anybody buy it. But if I'm not supposed to be here and I'm supposed to go on my way, can you please bring them very soon? Because I'm getting impatient and I am done. And so, no kidding, the next day we got an offer. And I was like, I kind of don't want to move. But I had to trust that that's where I was supposed to go. So ironically, I move and it wasn't easy. And I'm in this rental and my life is so different. And I've met somebody that I adore, that I get to share time with and space with, and I get to be a cup filler with. And that's been incredible. But guys, that doesn't happen overnight. And you've got to put yourself with the flower, and you got to be able to put yourself in an environment to thrive. And you have to do that with you first, right? And so, and then just surrender to the fact that people, places, and things are going to show up in your life, and have the awareness to notice them. Because after I lived here and I intuitively felt like this is where I'm going to be when I meet somebody, I know it. I knew it. There's nothing else made sense. And so it's a place where my life is transition. I was about to fly to another state to go meet somebody. And I intuitively was like, that's not working. I knew that wasn't where I was supposed to go, and things weren't lining up. And so my last little thing is I live by this phrase, and I made it up in 2017 and I live by it now. Take from me what's not mine. Give me what is. I won't ask any questions, and I'll trust your judgment. And then if you want to add a little spice, you can say, and please make it for my highest good and on the path you want me to go. And then let it be and see what shows up in that time. Because ever since I was able to truly surrender, so you got to say that, and then you got to let it go. You can't just say it and then like, Lulu, I'm going to try and control this and control this. But say it and let it go, and then see what happens. And if you truly are able to surrender, the things that walk in your life might be the most beautiful things that you've always wanted. So I did that. Worked for me. That's my little wisdom. I was trying to think of like a WW, like a wisdom widget, which isn't very funny. So we're just going to go with a little bit of wisdom today. Guys, thank you for listening to the Shift with Intention podcast. Part of my purpose here in the book of Shift with Intention is to just get the stories out to help other people. This is a higher purpose project. I know that it's a long-term thing. I know it will happen over time. And this is a bigger thing. It's part of why I'm here. And all I need and want is for people to share their stories to help other people. So guys, find your shift with intention so you can soar. Put yourself in the right environment with your little flower to thrive. Fill up your little cup and say something that may resemble, take from me what's not mine, give me what is. I will not ask any questions, and I'll trust your judgment. And surrender to the fact that whatever comes for you is supposed to come for you. Thank you guys. And we'll have 10 more episodes, and then I'll pop in again for a little bit of wisdom from Jaime. And thanks for being supportive of us. I truly appreciate all of you, and talk to you soon. Bye.